Hello, my name is Dennis Rufi and today we are going to learn about Android. So, before starting this, let me give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Dennis Rufi and I work as a software engineer. I've been developing mobile apps for around 4 years and I have around worked on around 10 plus mobile apps. 7 of them are live on the Google Play Store. So, enough of my introduction. So, let's get started to Android. So, what we will be learning today. Our agenda for today is very simple. We have 5 key points. First and the most important thing is what is Android. We will learn what Android is. Second, we will explore why Android is important. Then third, we will move into the components of Android. Later on, we will discuss about the language, ID and SDK required for Android app development. And last but not the least, we will actually jump into the Android Studio to learn and develop a simple Android app. So let's get started. Hope you are excited. So what is Android? Android is a mobile operating system based on a modified version of Linux kernel and other open source software designed primarily for touch mobile devices such as smartphones and tablets. So Android is an operating system. Like we have different type of operating systems, like we have Windows. For laptops and PCs we have Windows, we have Linux, we have Macintosh, but for mobile we have Android. So Android is amongst the most popular operating systems. So now we will understand why Android is important. So number one is market share. So according to a global survey, 71% of the market is occupied by Android and Apple has 28% of market. So Android is dominant in this market. Second is open source. The Android operating system allows the developers and hardware manufacturers to make changes to the operating system core software. This allows the company to make changes in the OS to work in very specific industries. So the Android operating system is open, it allows developers and other hardware manufacturers. Like we have Android running in POS systems, we have Android running in tablets, we have Android running in TV, we have Android running in mobile apps and big devices, tablets as well. So it is an open source system. It allows the developers and the hardware manufacturers so they can actually code and work on the main operating system. Third and the most important thing is the core fact is affordable. Android is very affordable as compared to iOS. So let's take example, like if you go out, let's take example of a country Pakistan. If you go out, you will see every other person will have Android. So let's take example of 10 people. So in 10 out of 7 to 8 people, they all have Android mobile because Android is affordable, easy to maintain, easy to use. And last, let's discuss the fourth point is customizable UI. So what do I mean by customizable UI? So we can see that we have many smartphone companies like Samsung, like Huawei, like like we have Realme. So what they have done is, so Android comes in stock Android. So when these companies, they use Android operating system, they replace and they put an extra layer of their operating system. Like we have my operating system, it's like we have different type of operating systems for different companies. So the main operating system, the stock Android, is getting replaced by a top layer by the companies. So it allows the companies to customize the UI and give some additional features like some company apps. So one is like Hydrogen OS. So one of the main important customizable UI is Hydrogen OS. You can see this Hydrogen OS in OnePlus mobiles. So now let's go to the components. Android has 4 important components. The first one is activity. What is activity? Activity is what we see on the UI. For example, if we open a mobile app, whatever is on the screen, it is the UI. So it is the basic thing to interact. The second thing is services. What are services? So suppose we are using a mobile app, and with the help of mobile app we are downloading something. So downloading something, this is done with the help of service. So when we just click the button of download, the thing or the file or the music file or the presentation, it gets downloaded in the background. So this is all due to services. Third important component of Android is broadcast receivers. What are broadcast receivers? Broadcast receivers are that important component which gives messages to our app from the Android OS. Like our app is on a mobile phone, and the broadcast, so we receive a broadcast receiver, the mobile phone battery is down, please charge the app. So we are getting the message from the Android OS to our app, so that is the broadcast receiver. Fourth, and another important component of Android is content providers. What are content providers? Content providers, it helps to share data between different Android apps. Suppose if I have an Android app and I want that Android app to share data or share some resources in other app. So content provider makes it possible and accessible. I can share my data with the other apps in the Android mobile. So what languages do we use to develop Android apps? We use Kotlin and Java. So these are the two important languages that is specially preferred by Google. So Android is now Kotlin first. All the developers in the world now use Kotlin. We have two IDEs for Android. The first is Android Studio. Android Studio is the official IDE, the official integrated development environment to develop Android apps is Android Studio. Then we have Android Developer Tools. It is by Sun Microsystem, but it is now deprecated. Everyone uses Android Studio. Third important thing is SDK. So Android SDK is the set of all the plugins, the libraries required to develop mobile app. So we don't have to worry about the Android SDK because it is shipped with the Android Studio itself. So enough of theory, guys. Let's dive into some practical. What we will learn today. We will develop a simple Android app using Android Studio, and we will navigate from one screen to another screen by clicking on a button. So let's get started. So here I have Android Studio. I have opened Android Studio. Let me create a new project. Okay, so here I am selecting empty activity. So I am giving my project name as Android Learning Class. So my primary language for this is Kotlin. We will be learning this Kotlin, and this is the minimum SDK. So I want the minimum SDK is the API level, which we will learn about it in later classes. So for now it is okay, we can use 21. Let's finish it up. And you can see my project is getting started. So before diving into the code, let me give you some brief overview of the Android Studio. So Android Studio is the official IDE to develop Android apps. We can write code over here, we can design, we can add pictures over here. So Android Studio is one perfect solution to develop Android apps. So my Gradle is building, so it will take some time. Okay, so here my project is started. So we can see this is the main activity. The activity is one of the main components of Android which we discussed. And this is my layout file. You can see this is the layout. So this layout, by using this layout, we will design. So what we will do is we will just place a button over here, and with the help of the button we will click and we'll move to another screen. And on that screen we will be having a welcome text and an image. So this is the project structure. So the entire thing in the app, it is related to our app, and these are related to the projects. You can see the Gradle properties, these are related to the project thing. So whatever code we write inside the Java COM and inside this package, the Android Learning Class. So this is the package. This package is is equivalent to our project here. So let me add one extension to that. I'm opening my build.gradle file, and now I am adding one extension to it. This extension will help us to directly interact with the views. Let me sync my project. Okay, so let's get started and design our first Android app. So this is my main screen. So here are the components. We have text views, we have buttons, we have image views, we have recycler views. So these are very all the types of views we use for Android. And over here I can write it in code as well. I can drag and drop as well. But for your learning and understanding, I will write code. So let me change this text view to button, and let me give it an IDE. So I will give this IDE as an BTN next. So let me change the text of it. Click me. Okay, so these are the attributes of button. What is IDE? So IDE, it gives a unique identifier that if, for example, if I have 10 buttons on one screen, it gives me a unique identifier that which button I can use to do some certain processes. So like BTN next is my this button, and with the help of this I can perform certain actions. So what I will do is I will navigate to second screen. We can make this screen as more colorful and attractive. So let's here give me a background to this. Let me add a background, and to add the background I will just add it as teal 200. Yes, this color suits well. Okay, so now let me create another activity. Yes, I can give it a name of second activity. So here you can see I have designed my first activity. I have given it a background color and a simple button, and I have given it an IDE. So let's design our second activity. So before designing our second activity, I will just navigate to the second activity with the help of our code. So let me write my code over here. I am using the button BTN next. I am putting an on-click listener on it, and I will be using intent. So what is intent? So in Android, whenever we want to move from one destination to another, we use intent. So today, what I will be using, an explicit intent. So what the explicit intent is? Explicit intent is which explicitly tells that what will be my location. I am telling the intent interface, the intent constructor, that this is my location and I want to navigate to this app. So let me write the code for intent. Well, while intent equals to intent. So what is my location? So I am here at the main activity, so I can pass the reference as this. Now let me give it explicitly define which activity I want to move on. I want to move on to second activity. Now I want to start this activity. I will pass on the intent. Okay, so let me run and show this to you. So for running Android, we can use Android emulator as well, which is shipped directly into the Android Studio, but we can also use the real device. Here, for better understanding, I will be using the Android emulator. So I have Android emulator ready. Let me start this Android emulator. In the meanwhile, I can just drag and grab and copy the image which I will be using. So let me copy this image. So here you can see that my emulator is ready. So let me run the app on the emulator. So it is giving me some error, so I know what that error is, so not a big deal. We can solve this in 1 minute, not a big deal. So now let me again run the app and show you what we have developed so far. So the Gradle is running, it will take some time. And here you can see our app is, we have developed a first mobile app. So let me click on this button. So when I will click, it will go to another screen. Yes, so now we have come here to our second screen. So in order to make it more interactive, more beautiful, let's design our second screen. So let me go to our second activity. The second activity, what I can do is I can first of all I can add an image view over here. Image view, we can do wrap content. Let me give it an IDE as an unique identifier. I am giving it as Android IV logo. So what image I will be using? So for this we have a property called source, and I am using the Android logo. Okay, so I want this image to come directly into the center. For this I will be using some properties. I'm constraining this image from all four corners. So to start off, so let's do start of parent. So what is parent? Parent is that main container, the main screen. End to end of parent, top to top of parent, and then bottom to bottom of parent. So since we have now aligned, so we have now constrained our image. You can see our image is now in the center. So let me now create a text view as well. Wrap content. So let me give it an IDE of TV welcome text. Okay, so let me constrain it. So I am constraining it from start to start of parent and to end of parent. Now I want this text view. What my text will be? My text is welcome to Android learning. So let me increase the text size. So text size is, let me do it 32 SP. Okay, so let me change the text color as well. So text color for is like purple 700 is okay. Okay, now I want this text to place to come between the image. So I am constraining this text vertically. I want this text to be top to bottom of my image. Okay, so let me give it the gravity. Gravity is center horizontal. So you can see this is welcome to learning. So in order to make it more beautiful, let me give the background to it as well. Background we can add as teal 200 no, we can add it as purple 200. Okay, so now we have designed our second screen as well. So let's run and see what we have developed so far in this app. So this is my emulator. App is running. So here is our first activity. So when I will click, I will move to the second activity and see we have developed a simple mobile app. So that's it for today. I hope we will learn further. Thank you so much guys.